Welcome to Warmaster Podcast, playing a game of Warmaster.
I know, how rare.
How rare. They can just see you, they can't see you.
Yeah, cool. So
this is Barry's hand.
And this is Paul's hand. Yeah, right, okay. So this is hopefully the start of a group of series, because we've had an enforced break for something that's happened.
Hibernation.
Hibernation.
Not for you, you've been out.
Well, yeah, I've been dealing with it, but like you've been a mole man.
People have been living like moles for a long time.
Exactly. And this is hopefully a start of a series of battle reports where we're playing the game, obviously, and we're explaining more about what we're doing. So in terms of like people can see the tactics that we're in play, and I will be very open with how I'm playing, like what I'm thinking, or lack of tactics. And we need to state out straight away that this is a game that is using, Warmaster Revolution, but it's not using any of the optional rules, which I personally think should be in there all the time. And if you were playing a tournament game, they would be there.
Not necessarily.
Depends
on the tournament.
Anything I run would be. And we can explain but we've got to teach you.
But we're not going to explain too much about the optional rules, because there's no point, because they're optional rules.
No, I'm just saying.
Learn the game.
But we will explain how the game is played in a vanilla sense.
Are you playing poker or something? Because you've got an awful lot of chits there.
I know.
Are you going all in? You're just going to push them forward.
Going on. It's like Casino Royale. Right. So when we come on to chat about these things, it's like I might point out the problem I have here is an issue that wouldn't be there if, for example, I had an optional rule in there to play. Okay?
Well, you could say that every time you fail an order.
Well, you're going to see, aren't you? But the way even the way I've built this army is different because all those optional rules aren't in there. Now, but when we talk about armies, I'll explain what we're doing.
You can talk about your army now because I've got you on camera. So we're on the zooming cam. So we'll start on this end of the line.
So this is my Orc and Goblin army. It's 2,000 points. And it's so starting here. I've got six units of orcs of various different types. Some is painted by me, and some is painted by somebody else. Are you tracking where I'm pointing?
Yeah, we're doing this brigade on the end.
So this brigade here. So that's 6 units of orc warriors, a single unit of wolf riders, a single unit of wolf chariots, 2 units of bull riders.
Okay, let's move along.
Here is a unit of Blackhawks. This is a giant. I can't remember where that model's from, but it's a lovely giant model. A unit of trolls. A unit of ogres. Blackgate miniature ogres. There we go. We can promote that. Then I've got 5 units of goblins. 2 of these are from Polar Fox, as in miniatures.
Nice.
Then 2 rock lobbers here. And then my character setup. This guy is going to be my general. I've got an orc hero on a withen.
Is it Grimgore?
It is Grimgore. It is Grimgore.
Nice.
An orc hero on a withen, and then another orc hero. Then I've got 2 orc shamans. One of them's packing the scroll of the spelling, and 2 goblin shamans. The idea of the list overall is to be something of everything, because I asked for like themes of like what should I use for this one, and the advice people asked me to use something of everything. So it's there. It's like everything in the army list is pretty much. The only thing that isn't represented is a goblin hero. That's the only thing. And
which
I haven't got. So, but I guess characters are characters. I've got quite a character. Quite a high lot of characters.
Those Jim rock lovers.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I could tell they looked a bit Jimmy. Mm-hmm. Jimmy, right? So what have we got over here? It's going to be a little bit harder for me to see, and that's all right. So we have. And you've got to hear the dog every time anybody comes near the front. So we've got, I don't normally use flagellants, but I've got 2 units of flagellants and a unit of handgunners. I don't normally use the handgunners. We've got an artillery brigade, which is your bog standard artillery brigade, so 2 cannons, 2 hellblasters. We've got the minimum core infantry, which you should just be able to see here, which is 4 crossbows and 4 halberdiers.
Yep.
And then onto our cavalry flank. We have 4 Kanikites and 2 Pistoliers. I think these guys might be something different, right?
They look like white wolves. Yeah.
So they are a rare one.
They came later. They were
relatively rare.
Okay.
Because I bought the army as painted from some chap when we were at one of the smog cons.
Yeah.
I kind of drove off him to, I think it was Coventry or somewhere. I picked it up from. So that was nice. As everybody knows, I love painting. So when I get the chance to pick up a painted army, the only thing I'm slightly unhappy about, unless it's just me being a moaning bastard, is that the general. This is my general model. He's kind of not based nicely because he's on
a square base.
He looks a bit like a cavalry model, so he might get mixed up with the but he's a bit different. So
he's a bit different.
Should be
Characters are literally how you want to represent them.
They're just tokens.
They're just tokens. Also, there's neither of these army lists have had any of the Warmaster Rules Committee 21 developmental changes, so we don't have to worry about that. As in putting them into the army list as well. So yeah, it's game on basically.
So just for my spells, I've got a scroll of dispelling on. We'll have this pink bright wizard here, whatever he is, purpley wizard. We have, I think he's got a sword of might on the griffin, because why wouldn't you? And we've got a sword of cleaving, and we'll give them to these knights here.
Do you want tokens from me to have by your units, or do you want to leave them?
Okay.
Oh, you got
Or
tokens. Oh, like I've got my little scroll token here.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Do you want them?
No, because then you'll have touched them.
Yes.
We're trying to maintain biosecurity in this madness world we live in.
Right.
So yeah, on those whatever those guys, hammer time fellas.
Should we just quickly talk the table through, like what the scenery is?
Okay, yeah. So I'll bring the camera around.
So you've got woods here, and
I'm
here.
not that quick, fella.
Yeah.
So
There's 4 woods.
Yep.
You've got 4 hills.
Four
1,
hills.
2, 3, 4. We've got some broken ground here. A bit of impassable being water here,
Yeah.
and then 2 linear obstacles here. Obviously, it's 2D because that makes it more practical for filming purposes. But there's no disadvantage to using 2D scenery, in a real game system. But,
or 2D miniatures.
Or 2D miniatures, you can do if you want. But obviously, I prefer 3D scenery, of course. But
So we're going to do a type of deployment that is we're just going to roll 1d6.
So using my familiar rules, there's several different ways of deploying, and the most simplest one is simply a roll off to see who deploys first.
So for one,
it's
you're
gonna be me.
deploying.
Yeah. So I will now quickly set up, which is 20 centimeters on in a regular game.
Okay. Or the actual rule is 80 centimeters apart, but as these mats are
You
pre-measured and
know,
cut.
that is a better description.
So-
I got the right way, but my way was
Not all mats and not all tables are the same dimension, so you've got to be 80 centimetres apart, and that's basically to try and stop it being too easy to get first turn charges and stuff, to provide a reasonable amount of distance.
So, something I'm going to have a problem with is in the 2 armies.
Well, apart from ordering.
Yeah, apart from ordering, is in the 2 armies playing against each other. Is that I don't have anything there isn't anything in the orc list that can essentially rush down, your Barry's artillery brigade, which has got very sensible 2 cannons and it's got defense guns and hellblasters. I don't have anything like flyers that can have an attempt at catching it on a flank or something. So that is going to be a problem, and I'm going to take casualties. I just accept that's going to be an issue. But them the breaks, I'm orcs.
I mean, against cannons, it doesn't matter if you're a knight or a goblin, you're all dying.
Yeah, exactly.
So I've almost got my stuff set up, so I'm not going to cheese pull too much.
It wouldn't matter to me, really. Whatever you chose.
And this is a classic matchup, and you see this all day long.
Yeah.
I mean, often you see it with far more ball boys than that, but
Yeah. I mean, there's like several different ways to build an orc army. Ooh, bring it all back a bit. But I don't. I like the one thing of everything. That's my kind of style of army, definitely. So something. I'm not too worried about my setup in general, because I know how I'm going to want the brigades to work. Because there's if I let Barry get into my flanks, then I'm dead basically. With my poor command, I'm not going to be able to turn my reliably get orders off to manoeuvre around to deal with that. So that is inevitable in this situation. That is I'm going to have to deploy wide and make sure I don't give it anything too easy to Barry to get around my flanks, because that would be a major problem if that happens to me.
So you may see me messing around with my stick at the moment, and that's because when you've got cannons, I don't use cannons a lot. I don't use armies with cannons a lot. 60 centimetres is your threat range with the cannons, so these hills here are more than 60 centimetres apart, so that might make it a little bit awkward to be on a hill and shoot to the other hill, but these hills here are less than 60 centimetres apart, so there may be some artillery combat going on between those two hills. My artillery is generally better than Paul's.
Yeah, it is.
By
Yeah,
quite a long way.
there's no doubt. There's no question. His artillery is.
But your infantry is much better than mine generally.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
so if we're looking at the matchup, my cavalry are superior, both in number and in quality. My artillery is far superior, but my infantry is generally inferior.
Yeah.
We have a bit of shooting that he doesn't have, but shooting generally doesn't achieve a great deal in this game. And once the orcs get into you, which is what they want to be, they can certainly do some work. And he's got some heavy infantry as well that I don't have access to. I have flagellants, which are they're kind of light infantry that hit hard, I guess is the way to describe them. Whereas Paul actually has some genuine heavy infantry and trolls who are going to be a real liability for him in this game, unfortunately. And
I'll try. I will try.
Because the best he can do is an 8, but with trolls the best he can do is a 7. And as if you're trying to order them a couple of times to get into charge range and then charge, it's 7 and then 5, which is
Set up. There you go.
7 and 5 isn't easy.
So my setup in general, basically, I've gone completely across the table. You see how my brigades are essentially mostly 2 units in a place. That's to keep me a wider frontage, because I say, for me to have units on my flank will be the most problems, and I'm not. Basically, I've got a lot of redundancy in this setup. I'm spreading out my characters quite a bit, so if one if one manages to get a pass on, he can then try ordering something else. It's not easy. If I had the optional rule in play of minimum of a half-pace move on the failed first order, that would really help orcs. Really helps orcs. But there we go.
But it's not in the game.
It's not in the game, is it? It's an optional rule.
It's like saying we're playing. Yeah, it's like we're playing chess, but we're playing chess with some optional rule. But it's not chess, then, is it? Yeah. It's like a variant of the chess.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you're playing Warmaster, you need to learn first about the kind of risk reward of making orders and failing orders. And what I fear that the optional rule does a little bit too well is it kind of mitigates the risk. So even if you mess up, it's not devastatingly bad.
Yeah, but it does. And on the flip side, it creates other situations. Yeah, exactly.
Whereas when you're playing original Warmaster, failing orders can be absolutely diabolically bad.
Oh yeah.
Like ridiculously bad, especially if you've got poor leadership.
So orcs obviously don't have like a command school or an officers' club or something where they learn tactics and doctrine like the Empire do. Like in the
club, I like it.
And so they don't train basically.
They train in fighting.
Yeah, my poor general is rocking around at Command 8. That ain't good enough really for a general. He needs to get back to Warminster and study a bit more. But there we go.
Drink a bit more, fight a bit more.
I'm going to do what I'm going to have to do.
So we might have to stop before the game and see what that boy that came down was. My son. That normally means there's some kind of IT issue.
Yeah, it's the only time they notice you, isn't it? Dad, fix the internet.
God damn it. So what I'll do is I'll finish setting up and then I will go find out what's going on and then we'll come back down. I am going to suffer a little bit because I've got 2 Leadership 7 wizards and 2 8 heroes and a 9 generals. So it's not a massive amount better than you.
It's not a massive.
There's only the general that's
there's
better
only the general that stands out as
Because you've got Orc Shamans, there's 7.
Orc Shamans, yes, 7. Yeah.
I think there's 7. Oh no, maybe there's 6. No, that can't. No, there must be 7.
Oh my god, I hope not. Let's have a looky see here. An Orc Shaman is Command 7.
Yeah, so I mean, I've only got 1 out of 9 better than you.
Yeah. It's just the maths start to tell.
Right. Okay. So we're gonna stop this recording now, and then we're gonna kick off the game.
Yeah.